doing, folks? My name's Jesse. Vlog entry number 17, March 22nd. What have I been working on? Well, I've been working on loops. The looper, I think, is probably one of the best tools that a guitar player can use to work on a lot of things, like timing. The looper will tell you without hesitation whether you sped up or you slowed down as you were making the loop. It will become really apparent where the loop meets up. You'll notice a tempo shift. It's really helpful when you're trying to orchestrate things, when you're orchestrating parts. How do parts fit together? It's really good for developing harmony because sometimes you kind of have to hear it and see it. So I've been kind of making use of it, especially with something that I just picked up about a month ago. An Eastwood 6/4 double neck, styled after the Telstar double neck from the 60s. I've always had a thing for double necks. I think of some of my favorite players who've had double necks. I mean, who wasn't 13 years old and watching The Song Remains the Same and thinking to yourself, God, Jimmy Page is cool with that double neck? Or Alex Lifeson at that period in the 70s, or Rick Emmett in the 80s, or even Ron Thal with that amazing VGA double neck with the 6-string guitar on the bottom and the 6-string fretless. Oy, just stunning stuff. And so I've had 3 different double necks in my life, this being the third one. The first one was a Dane Electro's 6-string and 6-string baritone. And that was a cool guitar, and you could do some really cool stuff with it. I ended up selling it because it was COVID and I wasn't using it a whole lot. And while I could do solo stuff with it, the baritone neck sort of acts like a bass, but I couldn't hit some of those super deep notes, like on a regular bass. So I let it go. I got a J Tercer 612 double neck, and I didn't really bond with that. The switching system was kind of weird. I've tried rewiring it, and it's currently sitting on my workbench waiting for me to find the patience to rewire it. And so lately, I've been doing a lot of bass gigs. And on a lot of them, I've been, for instance, the country band that I've done some gigs with, I'll do half my set on guitar and half my set on bass. I'm working with my friend Rob again, and I'm playing bass in his band. And I thought, it would be cool to have a guitar handy to add some layers to things. And I've been eyeing this Eastwood double neck for a couple years now. And a couple months ago, in February, they had a Valentine's Day sale, 20% off. So I pulled the trigger on it. And it's been fun. When I got it, the necks needed some slight adjustment. I didn't like the strings on the bass. I've decided that if I'm playing a short scale bass, and that's what this is, a short scale bass, I like flat wounds. Ever since I put flat wounds on my Kalamazoo. The last time I played with Rob's band, the last time I played as a member of Rob's band, the bass player was sick, and we're guitar heavy, so I said, all right, I'll play bass, and I have a J Tercer jazz bass knockoff. And I said, I'll try and play it like a regular bass player, play it with my fingers. I got to the end of the first set, and I had this huge blood blister. I forget if it was on my index or my thumb. I think it was my index. And I said, at the break, I just kind of looked down and reached down and grabbed a pick, and I said, we're going to have to Lemmy our way through this because this just isn't happening. So I'm not going to lie, I'm a weenie when it comes to bass strings. These are 45s, and 45 is the lightest, I guess. So I've got it set up. I actually practiced with Rob's band with this, and the bass sounds really good. I I like it, and I got compliments from the guys in the band about it. The guitar end of things, I put nines on it. It's got a roller bridge on it to go with the trim, and the neck pickup. I mean, they're interesting. Very much what you would expect from a guitar that was patterned after the '60s Japanese imports. The neck position kind of reminds me of the two position of a Strat. Now, the bridge pickup. Very single coily. The middle position is really where this guitar shines. Compared to the Telstars, although I've never held a Telstar double neck before, knowing what I know about Japanese construction, I can say that this is built much more sturdily. The body is actually hollow with a maple top and a mahogany body, kind of a German carve with a really pretty binding around it. The trim, the Jazzmaster style trim, just meant for wiggling, you know. So you can go spaghetti western on this all day long, really. It's 11 pounds. Now, in the Eastwood copy, they said only 11 pounds. Take the only out of it. It's 11 pounds. I played it for about an hour standing up, and at some point I said, no, got to be sitting down with this. I'm in my mid 50s, and my sciatic lets me know. So, and because it's kind of bigger, I don't know if it's breaking bad habits or just making my life difficult, but just given the angle of things, I'm not going to be able to really peer over and look at the fretboard. Now, when I was a kid, guitar players, or what I heard about guitar players, are like, if you're looking at the fretboard, you're cheating. Yeah, I guess. But if you're trying to break yourself of that habit, this would be a good guitar to do it with. I will say this about the Eastwood company that produces this. When I got it, I couldn't find the vibrato arm. I looked in the box, I looked in the gig bag, couldn't find it anywhere. And so I said, well, I need one. So I contacted him and I said, "Hey, it didn't come with a trem bar, or where do you keep the trem bar?" And he was like, "Well, it should be taped in the body, taped in the box of the guitar." And I was like, "Oh shoot!" At that point, I'd looked twice, and then I threw the box out, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I didn't throw it out." I was pretty sure I didn't throw it out. I said, "Well, I looked, I couldn't find it." They said, "Okay, we'll send you one." And in about 4 days, one came in the mail. So customer service, as far as I'm concerned, is primo. I really appreciate what they did for me. So what have I been thinking about? Well, I've been thinking a little bit about creativity. And I've been thinking about why I'm drawn to it. You know, I harbor no illusions about this anymore. And I know this is in many ways a vanity project. And still I feel compelled to do this. And I like to sit and ask myself why, you know. And I came to a conclusion. Making stuff is important regardless of how it's used or if it's used at all. And I think the reason why is we as human beings often feel helpless. We feel victims of our circumstance. And it's not hard to feel that way. These are uncertain, scary times. And so, creating, the act of creation, in that moment, we feel like we're in control. We decide where stuff goes. We decide how things are going to be organized. We decide what it's going to look like. And the end result is the result of our strengths and our weaknesses. And ultimately, we look for ourselves in it. And so there's value in creation, regardless of whether it has commercial value or even sentimental value. One of these days, one solar flare, one satellite blip, one coup, one major cataclysmic geothermal event, and all of the videos that all of the YouTubers in all of the world since the beginning of YouTube might see their work disappear. Just like that. The flip of a switch, the hit of a button, it's all gone. And yet, there is still value in doing it. Because in this moment, and this moment is all we have, we can control something about our lives and say, this is good. My thoughts. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope you found this entertaining and or informative. My name is Jesse. I'll talk to you later.